All right, hey everybody, I am here today to show off a new feature of Cursor that I think is severely underrated and is actually pretty awesome. And so I wanted to share exactly how I can use this new model context protocol, MCP function, to really turbocharge a lot of the common features of Cursor. So I'll show you how to build this kind of step by step from the ground up, and then I have an open source repo. You guys can check that out, and feel free to contribute, add what you want, fork it, do whatever. All right, so first of all, I want to say thanks. I made my first video, just threw it up on Reddit just for fun, and really got some good responses, and really appreciate all of the feedback. Got a lot of good tips myself, and thought I'd make another video here based on some of the feedback. One person called out a interesting repo. I did a video on this earlier this week, looking at this Devon cursor rules. Basically, the idea is that you can use cursor rules to execute scripts and basically have this multi-agent kind of Devon-like system just using the core cursor functionality. Now, this idea is amazing. I think it's really interesting. One problem I have, though, is I worry that because we are loading up these cursor rules with all of these kind of agent meta instructions, your agent's not going to know enough about your code base. And to me, my cursor rules are so key to getting really consistent results that I hate to use it all for a lot of these instructions and things. But I do think adding on tools, so they've got interesting tools, screenshots, search engine, all this stuff, web scraper. This is really useful, right? I've been, if you saw my last video, I do a lot of manual copying and pasting. I'm using other tools and I'm doing a lot of things. It'd be great if we could start to automate that. Now, just I think it was last week, maybe a week ago, Cursor implemented a connector to the model context protocol. So this is something that was made by Anthropic as kind of an open reference for how to provide external tools to any client. So an agent can basically go and start using a variety of custom tools and have a nice interface for using that. So I would say read through this. This is a better description than what I gave. But also, a much better description than what we have here for Cursor. I love Cursor. You guys are awesome. You got to work on explaining these concepts better, because honestly, the documentation here is fine in terms of like how to do the thing, but the example here is terrible. Like you've got this weather server, and you can ask it for the weather. Like, why would you ever want to do that in Cursor, right? Come on, guys. This is not the point. It doesn't let people understand what this tool is capable of, because honestly, this tool is capable of a lot of stuff. I want to show you guys. It's awesome. So Cursor, fix this, please. Feel free to link to the weather on Mars. No. Feel free to link to my repo or this video, because let me show you guys. It's actually extremely cool what you can do with this. Okay, but I will say this gives you a good starting point for how to build like the base of this. So here's my repo. This is the MCP server repo, and I want to show just step by step kind of how I put this together. Now, of course, I used AI to help put this together. It's O1 is really good. O3 Mini really good at understanding what MCP is. You can throw some docs in there and get a starting point, and then it took me some tweaks to kind of get this dialed in. So I would recommend doing something like that, but you can also just clone this repo. This works. It's pretty cool. First thing is your tsconfig. It's a little bit funky, because basically what you need to do is create this build, and it's basically this index.js file is what you're going to point Cursor to. So you just got to make sure you got this modular resolution. Some of this stuff is a little bit non-standard. So, just copy this. You'll be good to go. Okay, so the starting point here is you basically use this model context protocol SDK, and it's this std.io, so standard in out, right? So basically you have two choices. You can either host this at a port, basically run a web server, or you can just directly point it to some JavaScript and make the calls that way. This is a little bit easier approach. You could do it the other way too. Totally fine. Okay. And then basically what we do is we create this server instance, and then we define our tools. Right? So if you guys have done tool calling before, this should look very familiar. You put your name, description, and then the schema. Right? So this is odd schema. You make sure that it'll validate against this, and you can. It's really important actually to put the description to be as clear as possible, because this is basically the interface that the cursor agent is going to see. And so if you're not clear about what these things are, you're going to have a hard time, because the agent's going to not know what to do with your tools, right? And so I've got 3 tools I put together. I'll show you these real quick, but I've got my screenshot tool. Okay, so I want to take in the URL to screenshot. I want the agent to basically say, hey, here's the URL I want you to go and screenshot. And you have a choice. You can either give the full URL, or you can just give a relative path. In this case, because we're using localhost, I'm doing it here. If you wanted to do this on like a preview branch or a staging, like you could change this, right? It's the nice thing about this, you can really customize this as much as you want. And then the way I have this set up is because I couldn't really figure out how to send the raw binary over to Cursor and have it included. I'm not sure if that's possible or not. If it is, that'd be great. So I kind of cheated and basically said, hey, Cursor agent, you just tell me where you want me to save this screenshot, and I'll just save it there. So then you can basically look at it in your repo. You can drag it into the agent if you want to make changes. But it's kind of a neat way to just kind of see some of these screenshots directly. I've got an architect. So again, if you saw my last video, I did a lot of work of concatenating all my files, and I had the whole repo, and then I wrote a description of the task, and I had all these XML tags, and I sent that off to O3 Mini or a really smart reasoning model to get back the plan. This is absolutely a best practice to get the most out of the Cursor agent. I find this works really well, but it's a pain to do all that. So this tool kind of does that automatically, which is pretty neat. It's not quite as effective as from what I found, but it's a really, really good starting point, and I think you could iterate on that. This last one is just a little trick from my buddy who was playing around this weekend and had been doing some git diffs and adding that to the end of his Cursor agent calls, and before he actually does a commit or a push up to the actual GitHub, just runs a quick git diff, asks the agent to look at it, review it, give him any fixes. Kind of a neat approach. I think this might be built in. I actually don't use a lot of the git commands directly through Cursor, so correct me if I'm wrong here. But kind of a neat thing here. Anyway, so then we do all that stuff. Very simple here. We're just calling in the request, get some params to figure out what tool we need to run. We start this thing here. Again, this is standard stuff. I didn't write any of this. This is from the docs. And I won't worry too much about this, but it just works. Okay. And then the tools themselves are pretty straightforward. We'll start with the screenshot tool. So basically, we're using Puppeteer. We just launch the browser. We go to the page. We take a screenshot, and we write it to this, whatever that file path is, okay? And then here's the interesting thing is we return this back, and then this is basically another prompt that you are giving to the agent, right? So we're telling it, hey, we saved this screenshot here, but before you continue, ask the user to drag and drop that into the agent window. Again, this is kind of a hack because I couldn't actually get it in there, but you'll see here the agent, should kind of say, hey, Kevin, do you want to pull this in and talk about it? It's cool, right? You could say whatever you wanted. You could say never say that. You could say whatever you want. It just kind of helps guide the agent. Again, this code review, this is very simple. What do we have here? We're just doing executing this command. Like this is a git command, right? No big deal. But then as the instructions, we're basically saying review this diff, and then if you find any issues, just fix it. Okay, no big deal. So pretty cool. And then the architect, I think this is where you start to get into what I think could be a really, really interesting use case. This is an area I want to explore more. I might do another video if I go deep on this. For those who don't know, actually, I maintain an open source coding agent. I've been working on it for about a year now, full-time, on and off. Still work in progress. Still some interesting things there. Cursor, is doing a really great job with their agent and their whole approach. But there's some interesting ideas in that repo, and I want to start to pull some of those in and kind of use the best of the ideas I have from my repo and merge them with the excellent tools that we offer here, or that Cursor offers. So again, you can start to do very detailed prompts here. This one's fairly straightforward, but you could really go deep here and make this a really intricate prompt. But the cool thing here is we can actually just call out to O3 Mini. You can call it O1, whatever model you want. Do an open source thing, whatever you want. And basically return that back. And basically the prompt here is all about expert software architect. Outline the steps that an AI coding agent should take to complete or improve the code. Okay. And then output a step-by-step plan. Again, this is very similar to the instructions that I had in the other video, but it just does this automatically. And the neatest part about this is if you actually look at what we're asking for this architect, we're asking for the code, okay? It's the concatenated code for one or more files. So we can take advantage of Cursor's really good search tools and tree sitter and whatever they're doing to, go out and do RAG or whatever it is to identify the files that are relevant to a certain task and send those over. So this way I don't have to send, the entire repository over there and get this. It will automatically find the relevant files, send them over. Pretty neat to see that in action. Okay, one minor thing I will add here, and I'm not going to show this, but one of the limitations of this server approach is you can't actually put environment variables. Like I had in .env here, it wasn't working, and it's a security thing. It just didn't want to. There's probably a good way to do it. I didn't dig too deeply in it. Instead, I took the YOLO of just like. I'm pulling this in from my keys.js file. So I've got my OpenAI key here. Git ignore it. It's only here locally. I'm only using this tool local, but this is definitely not production level code, guys. This is just an example of how this tool works and just kind of, instead of calling the weather, like show you what you can do with this thing. Okay, so let's take a look at this real quick. I'm going to pull up, this is my actual, one of the projects I'm working on. This is an internal tool. Let's just go ahead and try one of the tools. Oh, so first of all, sorry, let me do this. Let me show how to add this in here. So just go to Cursor, in the settings here. Okay, go to the features. And if you scroll down, there's this section here. This is new, MCP servers. Okay, so go in here. Just put whatever name you want, doesn't matter. The type, do command, not SSE. Okay. And then the command is basically you're just running this node. I mean, it's just that index.js file. You got to run a build, on the other side to actually, TypeScript compile, get it to this JS file. Once you do that, just point to it, and you'll kind of know right away if it picked it up because it will show you the tools that are available here. And if you make any changes, just hit this refresh button. The UX is kind of bad here. It's like, did it work? Not work? I think it works. Sometimes I had to kind of reset the tool. It's a work in progress. I give the Cursor team a lot of credit for adding this in, but I think there's some improvements we can do. But overall, really cool first start. Okay, so that's step one. Step two is, and you don't have to do this, but I think it's really helpful. In your Cursor rules, I added this tools section, and I basically just explain what the tools do and when I wanted Cursor to actually call these tools. Okay, so in this case, like if you make a change to the UI, use a screenshot tool and show the changes. Right? Maybe that's useful. We'll see. I'll play with this and see what works. This one for a complex task, use the architect tool to get a plan, and then after a task is performed, go ahead and use this code review to get a diff and look at it. So let's do this. I'll do this. I'll start with the code review first since it's right here. Okay, let's say, so I'm on a branch here. This is my rubric fix. I just made this up. And let's see here. I am going to, let's just make a typo here, right? I don't know. Like, let's just say, there we go. I'm going to save this. And, no, I have to change it. Okay, we'll try this. Is that going to work? Anyway, we'll try this here. Let's run a commit and a code review. And yeah, that's fine. I've been having this lately. Okay, fine. We'll submit. Okay. Okay, so we run a build check. That's fine. Should work. Again, these are part of my cursor rules. I'm always asking it to run builds before it actually does any commits. I find that's very helpful in real world coding. Do I actually have... oh, okay, fine. It's gonna maybe it'll fix this. Sorry, I meant to make just a simple change. Okay. Yeah. It's gonna fix that. Okay. Oh, it just fixed it. Okay. Fine. We'll run this build. Maybe in the meantime, let me see if I can just like save this here. So that's not gonna break anything. Let's see if we'll see if the code review fixes and identifies that. But in the meantime, okay, everything works. It's fine. Let's accept this just to get those out of there. So basically, if you look at this, the only change I've made is a bunch of E's. Build successful. We're gonna commit. This is fine. Okay, so now we committed. Now let's see. Now, okay, here we go. So it said let's perform a code review. Okay. So when it calls a tool, it asks for the any kind of attributes. Because I need to know where this is to run that diff command. I'm asking for the folder path. It's kind of a hack. Like I think there's probably better ways to actually do this thing. But you can see this. Okay. And so in this case, yeah. Change was forward and straightforward. It didn't catch this thing with the example, but this is just text. So, again, I'm just kind of showing this. This is probably should have came up with a better example before I ran this, but this works fine. It's okay. So we have that there. Let's do something else. And I'm just going to try to pull this screenshot. Do a screenshot of the logout screen. Let's try this. Again, this is a little bit contrived. Normally, ideally you'd make some complex UI change and it would do a screenshot and do this. So I just want to show exactly kind of how the screenshot tool works. It's kind of cool. We did some work. We found out exactly where that route would be. So we're calling it with this auth sign out. And then we're basically saying, save it to the screenshots logout screen.png. Okay. Okay, there we go. So it said, hey, we took a screenshot. There it is. Pretty cool. You can drag and drop this in here if you want, right? So you can say, make this look awesome, right? It'll do, Cloud's actually pretty good about doing stuff like this. So again, it knows what, where that actual component is. It's able to make changes. You can make some changes here. You screenshot it again. It'll go back and forth. Actually curious to see if it's going to go through and do another tool call. A new page. Yeah, we don't need to do a new page. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, but anyway, there it goes. Taking a screenshot of this new design. Is this actually going to run? I actually did. I guess this is running in the background. I didn't know it was. Okay, let's look at this. It doesn't look any different. Okay, anyway. You get the idea here. Take a screenshot. This is, again, a contrived example, but we'd have that here. And then what I really like is let's go ahead and show an example of the plan. If you saw my thing last week, we had all these instructions in this template, all this XML and the cursor rules, complicated thing. Here we're just going to take this task. This is a real bug I have, actually. I'm curious to see what it does. And so we're saying, here's the thing I want to do. Create a plan and fix bug. Now I gave it instructions to only do a plan when it's a really complicated thing. This actually might be easy enough for Cursor to just kind of look at it and sign it to be like, you know what, bro, this is like a dumb bug. I can just fix this myself without having to create a whole plan to do the thing, which is exactly what you want, right? You want it to kind of be self-aware to say what it can do and what it needs more of a plan to do. And what's cool here, look at what it did. So it went out there, it did a search. It grabbed the relevant files. And then when it's doing this call, basically we send the task and then, we're basically sending over some code. Oh, we're not actually sending code. It's interesting. I've seen this most of the times. It actually sends us this code over here. So I'll probably need to adjust some things. But Let's see here. Okay. So I think what happened was so you can see here, here's kind of the step-by-step of like what to do. Analyze the data flow, review this, check this out, blah, 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 blah. So it's got this whole step-by-step approach, which is pretty cool. Again, might need to tweak this a little bit. Again, point of this, I want to show you guys the power and potential of this MCP and what you can do with it. I'm really excited about it. I think there's a lot of tools that I personally will start to play with. And if you guys come up with cool stuff, definitely let me know. I would love to see what you guys do, maybe feature some of these. All right, and so, if you guys want to play with this, I've got this up here. Be careful with this. It's not production code. There might be bugs. I'm probably not going to go through and do a bunch of support on this, right? This is more just for tutorial purposes. Show you guys how to build an MCP server. And if you guys find this interesting, let me know. I'm going to keep doing some of these videos, having a lot of fun with this. You guys seem to like it. So I appreciate all the support and all the great comments. So go ahead and subscribe. I'll make some more videos along this vein. If you guys have ideas of things that you want to see, or I've got a whole bunch of tricks in my bag that I'm happy to share and show you guys kind of how I use this day to day. Did some really cool stuff today, actually earlier today with deep research, being able to use that and the super secret O3 model behind the scenes, which is actually incredible at coding. So there's some tricks there, and we've got some new models kind of coming out soon. I think Gemini is going to come out. I can show an example of how I've used that in the past and maybe do a quick review of how that works. So again, you guys have content you want, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you guys later.